In today's video, we're addressing a serious question that every American should be aware of. Can you actually lose your U.S. citizenship? Whether it happens by personal choice or through government action, the answer may surprise you. From voluntary renunciation to government-initiated denaturalization, we'll explain the legal routes that can strip someone of their citizenship, and how it can happen much faster than most people expect. Welcome to Legal Lens USA, the channel where we break down the laws behind citizenship, borders, and the policies that directly impact real lives. This is information you truly need to know. So let's dive in. And before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us grow more than you know. Today's topic is something both U.S. citizens and immigrants rarely think about, but absolutely should. Many Americans assume that once citizenship is granted, it's permanent, secure, and untouchable. You have the passport, the right to vote, and full constitutional protections. End of story, right? Not exactly. The reality is that U.S. citizenship, whether acquired at birth or through naturalization, is extremely powerful, but it is not completely immune. There are legal processes, active government investigations, and real cases happening right now that prove citizenship can, in fact, be taken away. In this video, we'll break down the legal framework, share real-world cases that will shock you, and explain the government system responsible for something known as denaturalization. So before you assume your U.S. passport guarantees lifetime protection, stay with us until the end. Let's start with the basics. Who qualifies as a U.S. citizen? There are two primary categories. First, citizens by birth, those born on U.S. soil, including territories such as Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, or individuals born abroad to at least one U.S. citizen parent. Second, naturalized citizens, people who were not born American but completed the legal immigration and naturalization process to obtain citizenship. Both groups enjoy full constitutional rights, including voting, holding a U.S. passport, and accessing federal benefits. However, here's the critical difference. When it comes to losing citizenship, the government treats these two groups very differently. Natural-born citizens are almost always protected under the 14th Amendment, except in rare cases involving fraud at birth. Naturalized citizens, on the other hand, obtain citizenship through a legal process, and that process can be reversed if it's later proven to be flawed or dishonest. Now, let's discuss the most straightforward way to lose U.S. citizenship: voluntary renunciation. This is a formal legal procedure. You can't simply announce it online or send a letter. You must appear in person at a U.S. embassy or consulate outside the United States and sign an official oath confirming that you fully understand the consequences. As of 2025, the renunciation fee exceeds $2,000, and most importantly, the decision is permanent. Once you renounce your citizenship, you lose your U.S. passport, your right to vote, and access to federal benefits such as Social Security. If you ever want to return to the U.S., you'll need a visa, just like any other foreign national. So who actually chooses to do this? Each year, thousands of Americans living abroad voluntarily give up their citizenship. Some do it for tax reasons, since the U.S. is one of the few countries that taxes based on citizenship rather than residency. Others make the decision for personal, political, or lifestyle reasons, after fully committing to life in another country. But once the process is complete, there is no undo button. Now let's move to the part that surprises most people. Can the U.S. government forcibly take away citizenship from someone who never wanted to give it up? The answer is yes. This process is called denaturalization, and while it's less common than voluntary renunciation, it happens more often than many realize. Every year, the Department of Justice opens dozens, and sometimes hundreds, of denaturalization cases. These occur when the government determines that an individual should never have been granted citizenship in the first place. The most common reason is fraud or misrepresentation during the naturalization process. This could include hiding a criminal record, using a false identity, failing to disclose military or political affiliations, or concealing involvement in human rights violations. And here's the most important part. There is no statute of limitations. Whether someone became a citizen 5 years ago or 25 years ago, citizenship can still be revoked if fraud is discovered later. Let's look at real examples. In one case, a man from Bosnia lived quietly in the United States for years before investigators discovered he had participated in war crimes during the Yugoslav Civil War, information he deliberately concealed during immigration. His citizenship was revoked. In another case, a former Nazi concentration camp guard who had lived in the U.S. for decades lost his citizenship and was deported after his past was uncovered. These are not isolated incidents. They're part of a long-standing legal pattern. Fraud isn't the only trigger. There's another pathway to denaturalization involving hostile affiliations. If, within 5 years of becoming a U.S. citizen, you join an organization that promotes the violent overthrow of the U.S. government, serve in a hostile foreign military, or accept a high-level position in a foreign government without approval, your citizenship can come under review. Even without direct violence, these associations can raise serious red flags and lead the government to argue that your original naturalization was obtained under false pretenses. What about dual citizenship? Millions of Americans hold more than one passport. Is that allowed? In many cases, yes. Holding U.S. citizenship along with citizenship from countries like Canada or the UK is generally permitted. However, intent matters. If you acquire foreign citizenship with the intention of abandoning U.S. allegiance or swear an oath that explicitly rejects loyalty to the United States, you could be at risk. High-ranking government roles, explicit renunciation of U.S. allegiance, or actions that undermine U.S. sovereignty can all become legal issues. Now let's discuss the most extreme and thankfully rare scenario: treason or rebellion. Acts of treason, armed rebellion, or serving as an agent of an enemy government can lead to citizenship loss in addition to criminal penalties. These cases are uncommon, but the laws exist and have been enforced. Here's something many Americans don't know. The Department of Justice has an entire denaturalization section within its civil division. This team works closely with Homeland Security and immigration authorities, using biometric data, advanced databases, and even AI tools to review immigration records, including cases that are decades old. If suspicious activity is identified, the government files a federal court case. The individual has the right to legal representation and due process. But if the government proves its case, citizenship is revoked. The person loses their passport, voting rights, and becomes sub-J, ECT to deportation, not as a green card holder, but as a removable alien. What about people born in the United States? In nearly all cases, the 14th Amendment provides strong protection. However, there is a rare exception: fraudulent birth records. This includes fake hospital documentation, false parentage claims, or organized birth tourism scams. These cases are extremely difficult to prove, but the government has challenged citizenship in specific fraud rings. So what's the common thread in all of this? Intent, deception, and fraud. The U.S. government cannot revoke citizenship arbitrarily. There must be clear, convincing evidence that citizenship was either given up voluntarily or obtained unlawfully. The burden of proof is high, but once it's met, the consequences are permanent. Here's the bottom line. U.S. citizenship is one of the most powerful legal statuses in the world. It comes with extraordinary rights, protections, and privileges. But it also comes with responsibilities, and yes, certain vulnerabilities. If you're a U.S. citizen, whether by birth or naturalization, understand your rights, but also understand the law. Because when it comes to citizenship, what you don't know truly can cost you everything. This is Legal Lens USA, bringing you deep insights into the laws and policies that shape our lives. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment below with your questions or experiences. Thanks for watching.